it's Brady. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are brand new here, hi, hello, welcome. We are a family of 4. It is myself, my husband, and our 7 and 4-year-old girls. We have a crazy 76-pound dog. We are a busy family. My husband works crazy hours. I work part-time plus YouTube, plus I have gone back to college. So I've been doing that for the last year or so. And then the girls are in school full-time, and, you know, just all the activities, all the family life, all the things. So, we're just a busy family like a lot of you, and I just like to share our grocery hauls, our what's for dinner videos, meal prepping, day in the life stuff. You know, if I haul back to school stuff, I share that with you. If I do, you know, kids clothing hauls, I like to share those things as well. So if that's your sort of thing, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and stick around. So today's video is going to be my 7,000 subscriber, y'all are incredible, 7,000 subscriber Q&A video. So I mentioned a while back, we actually hit 7,000 subscribers quite a while ago, a couple of months back. But as you know, if you've been around my channel for a while, that this summer has been absolutely crazy. My stepdad had a transplant, so that was a major surgery, and it had to be done out of state. And so I was up there, and then, you know, which was very sudden because they just kind of call you in the middle of the night kind of thing. And so I was up there for several days, and then and that was in June, mid-June, and then I came home and kind of was the liaison for everything here in town. Well, they live kind of the next town over, but you know what I mean. So I was driving an hour or so round trip multiple times a week, taking care of their house and their pets, and all of that sort of thing, plus our stuff going on, plus you know, just life. So this summer has been very busy, plus, you know, getting ready for back to school, all that sort of thing. And so I just haven't gotten to it. I really wanted to do this Q&A a lot sooner, but I thank you for being patient and, you know, giving me the space to get things done as I need to do in my real life. Not that this isn't real life, but you know what I mean. To get things done in my household and take care of my family and, you know, get back into the swing of somewhat normal. So, that's what I'm doing today. If you're like, Brady, why are you driving? That is because I'm on my way to the pickup line, to sit in the carpool line. I've got about 20 or 30 minutes before my oldest is going to be dismissed from school. And so I thought, well, I've got to sit here anyways. Why don't I go ahead and film the Q&A? And, you know, then I can wait and be able to film a video in the mostly quiet, aside from the car noises, for y'all. So, I am going to get parked and situated. And, then we will go from there. So bear with me as I get parked and stationed up here. So anyways, okay, so I wrote them down as best that I could. If I did not find your question, I am so sorry. It was very hard to go back and find everybody's and make sure that I got everyone. So if you asked a question and I did not answer it in this video, then please leave it again in the comments, and I will reply back to you, or we'll film it in the next Q&A. But for sure, I will get that answered for you. So anyways, let me get me a drink before we get started. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that I get is, what am I going back to college for? That is a whole thing. I think it was like a 20-minute answer, but I did film that for y'all the other day and made its own separate video with all the details about why I went back to school, what I'm studying currently, what my future plans are, kind of the all-around answer, long-winded answer of that. So I'm going to link that up here in the iCard and as well down in the description box for y'all, so that you can find that video that answers that question more deeply. Because honestly, I'm really glad that I ended up filming that separately, because it did take a while to talk about everything. And this video is already almost 6 minutes long, and I just started. So we know that that's going to take a while. Okay, so then my next question that I get, one question I got was, what are your ideas for meal planning when no one knows, for meal planning moms when no one in the house knows what they want? Girlfriend, I wish I had a better answer for you, but my answer is, sometimes I just pick something. I mean, if I'm going to prepare the meal, sometimes I just pick something. I will say, we went through kind of a rough patch with meal planning over the winter, or not over the winter, over the summer, because number one, no one wants anything heavy when it's 9 bajillion degrees outside. And so we kind of always get that way anyways. But it's also been more difficult here late, the last couple of months. And so what I did is I kind of tried to find some new stuff on Pinterest, or I've tried to go to my cookbooks. But one thing that I have found extremely helpful is my monthly meal planning, which we are back to. And so I will post a link in the description box, is probably up here as well, for my September meal planning. I think August is also done too. But anyways, it's been extremely helpful to make a monthly meal plan, and we don't stick to it rigorously. Like, we pretty much always have takeout or pizza on Friday nights, but other than that, I'm not super strict on, like, we're having this on Tuesday, the such and such. Like, we're not that strict with it. But what it allows is it gives me ideas for dinner. And you can even do that with breakfast and lunch as well, if that's helpful. I kind of find that we just kind of eat whatever's around, or, I might plan something for the weekends, but through the week, it's really simple stuff. So, but for dinners, what I do is I make the monthly meal plan. As when I sit down and make the monthly meal plan, I ask my husband and the kids, is there anything that you're wanting, that you've been wanting me to make? Kind of think it over, and I'll go to do something for a few minutes. And then when I sit down at my desk, I'm like, okay, did you think of anything? And then I try to incorporate those meals that they thought of into the meal plan on the meal planning list of meals for that month. And then I will go through and I will patch in some, easy things that I know everybody usually likes, and that sort of thing, some staples. And then I'll go to Pinterest and I'll be like, okay, what have I saved? Is there anything from a cookbook that I've been wanting to try? And I write all of those down. And then I try to make sure at the beginning of the month that we have the meat for all of those dishes in the freezer, broken down in the freezer, ready to go, so that we can pick that at any time. And then I try to find a couple of easy things too, like those Asian meals, if your family likes that sort of thing. And I just try to make sure that the freezer is prepared. So then once I make the monthly meal plan, I give it to my husband, because the kids, really, most of the time they're going to be particular anyways. So unless it's fried chicken or grilled chicken or rich chicken casserole, they're probably going to complain about it. And they'll probably have scrambled eggs or a peanut butter sandwich or a piece of grilled chicken, something. But that's what I do. So if you've never done monthly meal planning before, that could be a helpful option. And like I said, you don't have to be rigorous about it. I know some people are, and that works for them. But for us, I try to, I look at my calendar when I'm writing them out, because I do put it on a printout monthly calendar, but we just cross them off with a highlighter that's on the side of the fridge when we use those meals. And so we kind of know where we're at. But I will kind of try to put things where I think we might use them, and kind of put in a leftover night the day after something that I know is going to be a big meal. Like when I make fried chicken, we eat fried chicken for like 3 days because it only happens a couple of times a year. But yeah, so that's my best advice. Is sometimes you just kind of have to pick, and if they're not willing to offer suggestions and be able to tell you what they want, then you're just gonna, I just pick things. I'm like, okay, so if you're not gonna tell me, then I'm gonna pick it for you, and this is what we're having. And it is what we're having. So, maybe after a few times of doing that too, maybe that'll help them get inspired to offer suggestions. Another question that I get that I've gotten is why I'm trying to remember how it was phrased, because I just shorthand wrote it down. But basically it was something about like why I have liquid medication, or why I take children's liquid Benadryl, or why I take chewable ibuprofen. So I have a genetic disorder that is called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, and it affects a lot of my body, but it also affects my esophagus. And so that's a whole nother thing. If you'd like to have a video kind of dedicated to what is Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome and like how I deal with it, things that I deal with it, things that I've found that have helped, resources, or just my like my story with it, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to share that with y'all if it's something you're interested in. But anyways, basically it affects your collagen production and the way your collagen is formed in your body, and it can affect your like the ligaments and muscles around each joint. It can also have other issues. One of the things that I have is a narrowed esophagus, and so a lot of people, for the longest time until I found a GI doctor that believed me, a lot of people did not, even doctors did not believe that I couldn't take pills. They couldn't believe that would get stuck, like even little things like tiny Claritin pills. And so, they were kind of like, well, what's going on there? And so finally a GI doctor did listen to me, and he was wonderful. I was, I think 18 or 19. And he did an endoscopy and saw that it was narrowed. He did, what do they call it? Dilate the esophagus, which helped for about a month. I would say I was actually able to take pills. I was able to swallow easier and not get choked so easily. Another GI doctor that I saw about a year ago did another endoscopy because of some other issues, and he said that it had definitely gone back from years ago when I had it dilated before, which I knew that because it only lasted about a month before I was not able to swallow easily like that again. And so, and I was having the same issues. So I never went back about it, but then when I started having more issues and went back to a GI doctor again, he did an endoscopy, like I said, it was about a year ago, I guess, and saw the same thing. He was like, okay, so we'll dilate it again, and I didn't really see any improvement this time at all, so I don't know. He said he dilated, I don't know. I was asleep. So, yeah. So I don't really know. But all I know is that that's something that I deal with. And honestly, like, even regular eating, I get choked super, super easily. Once they realized some other things were going on, they sent me to a GI specialist, this past year, and she said that she thinks that I should probably see, like a speech therapist and kind of see it, like, do a swallow study and that sort of thing. And I just honestly have not pursued that, because it's not going to be something where they can fix that. It's just they want to kind of know what else is going on. But anyways, so because of the narrowed esophagus, I have to take liquid or chewable medications. Well, the liquid and chewable medications, other than like NyQuil, are made for children. So I have to take a higher dosage as an adult. And so, with that, it just means that I'm going to go through that medication quicker than someone would, if you're just giving 5 mLs to a kiddo. And then, of course, because I have kids, then if they need the medication, then they take it too. And so a lot of people see that and they're like, my gosh, you go through a lot. Or why are you taking liquid medication? And that's just, that's the long-winded version, basically. So there's that. Where did my name come from? Is it a family name? I've gotten that question as well. That was the next question here on my list. And my name is not a family name. It's kind of a funny story. So my mom still loves Days of Our Lives. And there was a character on there who named their son Brady, but that was also one character's last name or something. I don't even know, honestly. But I don't remember exactly the characters. But basically, fun fact about that is I'm actually older than the character on the show, their son, that they named Brady also. But my mom fell in love with the name. I guess my dad agreed to it. And so that's the name that they gave me. But fun fact, I'm actually older than the actual character on the show that they named their son Brady. But if you watch the show, he is older than me because of how TV time works. So that's always been kind of funny. But yes, it is typically a boy's name. But my mom decided to be original. So that's all there is to that. Easy meals. What are easy meals? What easy meals do you use? That was another common question that I get a lot when people see my meal planning videos, because I will write on the meal plan at least once for the month, easy meal. And people are like, what does that mean? So for us, that could mean a frozen pizza. It could mean one of those frozen Innovation Asian meals with some, steamed rice, 90-second rice packets. It could mean a rotisserie chicken and a bag of salad. It could mean baked potatoes and salad. Just something that doesn't really require me to do much. And so, an easy meal. It could also, if we have leftovers, it could be a clean out the fridge night. We could make sandwiches, just kind of whatever we have on hand. So, that's our easy meals. How long have my husband and I been married? We have been married 8 years this month. Our anniversary is actually coming up in a couple of days from me filming this. And, sorry, now they're looking at me as kids come out. So, yeah, our anniversary is coming up. We will be married 8 years. We've been together just over 9 years. And, yeah, we're quickly approaching that 10-year mark. Do I live in the same state that I was born in? I do not. I was born in Alabama. I went to 13 different schools by the time I got to high school. And so we moved around a lot. I've lived in Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. I've lived in various places all over the state of Tennessee, but we are in Middle Tennessee. I have been here in this area, in this same county of Middle Tennessee for 17 years. So we've been here quite a while. This is definitely kind of what I call home, but I do still have family in other parts of Tennessee and all over Alabama as well. Our grocery budget is another question that I get a lot, and I'm about to wrap up this video, but where do we live? Let me talk about that first, then I'll go back to the grocery budget, because that kind of goes with, do you live in the same town you're born in, or the same state? And so, we live in Middle Tennessee. I know a lot of you kind of speculate of where we live. Some people want to know more specifically, but for our privacy, safety of the kids, that sort of thing, we don't share the exact town that we live in, nor will I share the county that we live in. But we live in Middle Tennessee. We are about 40-ish minutes from Nashville. So, you know, right in the dead center of Tennessee. Like I said, I've lived here for 17 years, I believe. Yeah, 17 years. Yeah. So that's where we live. And our grocery budget is ever evolving. So it used to be when I first stayed home and we first had our oldest child, 7.5 years, well, a little over 7 years ago, our budget was $400 a month or $100 per week. So sometimes that ended up being, you know, $500 if there were 5 Fridays in a month. And that's just the budget we stuck with for several years. We increased it to $125 when my second child was born. And that was mainly to cover diapers and that sort of thing. And then we actually have increased it. It is now up to $180 per week because things have gotten so expensive. But as you know, with the pandemic going on, prices are all over the place. Sometimes you can find things in stock, sometimes you can't. And so we've definitely given more flexibility to the grocery budget. We are trying to get more on track with the budget again, but I can definitely see it going to more towards like $200 per week on a regular basis. But for the most part, you know, then if we have extra money, we'll put that towards Sam's or something like that as well. But yeah, there's just a lot to purchase. That, you know, that includes like household and pet supplies and stuff too. So that's everything that I've got for y'all today. The pickup line is moving, so I'm gonna pick up my daughter and get everyone home and situated. And once I do that, then I'll probably start editing this video. I think y'all have already seen my grocery haul and all that stuff too, so that's all I've got for y'all today. Okay, so I am actually adding on. I went to edit this video. It is Monday, and I went to edit this video to get it up for y'all, and realized that there were a few more questions that came in on my community tab whenever I posted that, you know, that I was going to do a Q&A finally, and did anyone have any last minute questions? And so I didn't see anything, and then I filmed, and then when I got done filming and checked, there were some more questions. So I hope it's not too loud with me driving and everything, but it's kind of the only time I have to film before this video goes up. So I wanted to get to a few questions that I noticed came through after I filmed. So, and then we'll wrap up this video and I'll get it posted for y'all. But anyways, one of the questions that I got is, do we plan on having more children? And so, no, but never say never. That's, I guess, what I would leave it at. We have, so to be quite honest, I had my tubes tied in 2017 when we had our youngest. And at that time, we thought 2 was all we wanted. We now are discussing the possibility that we might, sorry, there's a bug in here, that we might adopt one day or go through the foster care system and try to help kiddos in that way. we're just not 100% sure. So as far as biological children goes, most likely that answer is no, because it would take a whole lot to make that happen. Not to say it's impossible, but it would make that very difficult, and it would take a whole lot. So personally for me, I am working on my health, and so we'll see. We're kind of going from there. Right now, that is our priority, is our current family, our current kiddos, and our health, getting it into a place where we would prefer it to be before we add more little people, if ever. So there's the roundabout answer. So no, but yes, but no, but never. No, but never say never. Okay? No, but never say never. All right. What was the other question? One of the other questions is, what kind of camera do I use? So right now I am using my iPhone, and y'all, I think it's an iPhone 10. It's definitely not the latest, newest one. It's almost 2 years old. No. Did I get this last? No. So it would have been, I think it's going to be 2 years this Christmas. Well, this December. We got it in a December. And I want to say it was the December before COVID hit, because I don't remember. We went to Sam's, and I just don't see that I would have went to Sam's in the middle of a pandemic, and waited for hours like we did. So it had to have been 2019. So anyways, I'm using my phone right now. And it actually has pretty good quality. And then if I have my AirPods in, and these are not the most current model either. These are like the first generation or whatever. But if I have these in, the sound seems to be a lot better, because it's almost like having a mic right here. I mean, well, it is. And so that does pretty well. I also use a GoPro Hero Black 8. I think that's what it is. And to be quite honest, I don't love the GoPro. I thought I would. I really thought that I would love the GoPro, and then there were supposed to be some mods that you could buy that were supposed to come out like right after I purchased that camera, but they got delayed because of COVID, and then it just I never ended up getting them. And so maybe my experience would be better with the GoPro if I'd been able to get the lighting and the flip up screen mod thing for it. But since I never got those, and by the way, those are an additional $70 each, plus you have to have some other sort of thing, that connector piece thing, that's its own like $60 or $70 purchase. So it's a whole thing. So I use the GoPro, but it is not my favorite. So I am looking to get a new camera in the next, well, I don't know when that'll be. We have other priorities right now. But when it becomes a possibility, I will probably get a different camera. For now, I'm using my iPhone a lot, using the GoPro as well. And then in the eventual goal is to have some more lighting. I want to get some sort of Mac, whether it's a MacBook Pro, or the new iMac, like desktop. I'm not opposed to a desktop either, so we'll see which way we go with that, because I use iMovie for editing, and I actually really like it. I don't want to learn anything else right now, but even if I did want to learn something else, just the processing speeds and things are a lot better, and it would be a lot better to have, a bigger screen, because I edit on my phone right now. Okay, so that's the eventual goal, is to get a new computer, Mac computer at some point, and also I want to get I don't even remember what that camera is that I'm looking at. I want to say that it's the Canon G7X Mark II. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's saved on Amazon. That's all I know. And then there's a couple of accessories and things like that I want to get, but they're not cheap. So if you are wanting to start a channel, or you're new and starting a channel and you have a pretty decent smartphone, if it's in the last couple of years, you can definitely use your phone. You can definitely use your phone. And if you have, you can definitely use your phone and then just upload the footage, like connect your phone to your laptop or computer and edit on there with, different free softwares. Or if you do have an iPhone and you're using your iPhone to film, just use iMovie. It's free. It's pretty easy to use. It's pretty user-friendly. So that would be my suggestion there if you are looking for something like that, to just starting out. I mean, I've had my channel for almost 3 years. I think my first video was in either October or November of 2018. So we are rapidly approaching 3 years on YouTube. And for the majority of that, I have used my phone. So it's definitely doable. For the entirety of that, I have used my phone to edit. So you can do a lot with a little. So just keep that in mind. And then I want to say there was another question. Oh, about YouTube earnings. All right, so that's a whole thing. I have thought about in the past. Someone wanted to know if I would share my earnings, like the amounts. I actually don't really have a problem sharing that as far as like y'all knowing. It's not like it's some big crazy secret. The thing that the reason I'm hesitant to share that is because I kind of feel like it would need to be its own dedicated video, and that's not what my channel is about. I do know that those videos where people share how much I made on YouTube, those videos do tend to do very, very, very well. Some of them go viral and, you get a ton of views. But that's not everything about my channel. I mean, obviously I want people to watch the videos, but that's not the number one goal here. And it's also not it's not similar to any content that I typically share. So I don't want it to be some sort of clickbait or, one-off thing that y'all have no interest in. So let me know what you think. If it is something that people would really like to see, then I can consider making a video about that in more detail. So y'all just let me know in the comments down below if that's something that you would want to hear more about, if you would like to see a dedicated video on YouTube earnings and how all of that works. So it's been something I've been considering, but I'd love to hear your input and kind of what you think about it. And I want to say there were more questions, but I apologize, y'all. I didn't get to write those down because I happened to see it and then I had to hop in the car to go ahead and head out. So I think that's it. So I really want to say that there was one more, but I cannot think for the life of me what that was. Oh, I do know. Favorite books was a question. What sort of books do I read? That sort of thing. That is something that we have discussed before, that I might be working on for y'all in the future, is kind of like Brady's Book Club or something of that nature, where maybe like once a month or once a season I would share what I've been reading, or the podcast I've been into, what shows we've been watching, sort of like a media matchup, media roundup, my thoughts on that. So again, if that's something that y'all are still interested in hearing about, let me know that down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, yada yada. Communicate with me in some way and let me know what you're thinking on that, if you've made it this far into the video. And anyways, So, one of my favorite authors is actually Jen Hatmaker, as far as like nonfiction sort of stuff. And it's not like an all-time favorite, but she's definitely up there. There's something about her personality, because I think all of her books that I've read, I actually listened to the audio version. And so she reads all of her books, and she's just very entertaining and relatable. So yeah, I really enjoy her books. I have had the Pioneer Woman's most recent like autobiography type book since December, since Christmas, but I have not read it yet, so we'll see. I need to. It's an actual physical book, and that's the problem for me. That's where I struggle. What else? I don't know. One of my all-time favorite books is The Lovely Bones, and I can't for the life of me think of who wrote that book right now. It was turned into a movie. I did see the movie. I highly anticipated that movie, and then they stopped production due to some issue. This was years ago. And then they, finished production and the movie released, and I finally got to see it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was very disappointed with the movie. If you saw The Lovely Bones, the movie, and you never read the book, and you didn't care for the movie, you should read the book. The book was much, 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 much better. I'm trying to think of what else. I love so many books that it's really, really hard to tell. It's just kind of what I'm into at the moment. But again, I think that's something that I'm probably going to work on soon, as far as sharing with you what I've been reading, what I've been watching, listening to, enjoying, all that sort of thing. So I think that's going to wrap up today's Q&A. Thank y'all so much again for 7,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much if you've made it to the very end of this video. I am so glad that you have joined me. And until next time, I will talk to y'all in the comments down below. Bye-bye.